Hello everyone, welcome to episode 55 of Daily Flip. A little bit different venue this evening. I'm actually in my house. It was a little bit busy day at the car lot today. Had a few things going on, sales related. I think we have a sale in the works for a Ford Fusion, a 2015 Ford Fusion that I've got. But just wrapped up everything. I had to leave work, had to take care of a few things with the course this afternoon. Had to record the podcast for tomorrow morning. If you want to check that out, thecarflipshow.com, I believe. So recorded that today. If you want to check that out, I'll tell you why you need a turkey baster in your toolbox. So there you go. Otherwise, taking care of a few things, getting some stuff diagged, working on a few different vehicles, working on our Ford Escape, the 2008, the blue one that I think I showed yesterday. Got a little ignition issue that we were working to fix. If you guys are watching this live on YouTube, YouTube is amazing for diagging. If you are a master tech, master mechanic, what's up MPH? Hope you're doing well. Speaking of master mechanics, that's your man right there. So I am not that. My mechanic is good. A great mechanic is one that can diag, fix it. Most mechanics, if you tell them what to fix, they can pull it up on AllData, look YouTube, they can figure it out. The good techs are the ones that can diag it from start to finish. You're a nerd. That's funny. I would not have guessed that. That's pretty cool. Well, you seem to know what you're talking about, whether it's AC systems going down or auto repair, so very handy nurse, if I do say so myself. But anyway, so we've diagged this to having to pull the ignition switch. Actually going to be putting a Dremel tool to it tomorrow, so I'll let you know how that turns out. Better mechanic than a nurse. That's a little worrisome, actually. I hope you're not my nurse, unless you're just a really good mechanic and you're just an awesome nurse as well. But no, just kidding. So we'll be working on that Escape tomorrow. We've got a blower motor, which you commented on, the Audi MPH. What's your name, man? I call you MPH because that's what it shows up as on YouTube. So I don't know what to call you, but anyway, we're gonna hope that that blower motor fixes it because we've already got it ordered and I can't return it, so we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, what else did we go over today? I got the Avalanche back, one that I sent off to Mako. Michael, that's my first name actually, so good name. Michael, great nurse, hopefully even better mechanic. So we got our Avalanche back today from Mako. I had a new guy do some body work for us. I honestly wasn't that impressed, so we'll see. Anyway, I think it'll be good enough to sell, but it just in the hood, and I'll try to show that tomorrow. I just didn't do the best job. So Mako did a good job with the paint. The paint body work wasn't the best. Rafa, let's see. I'm going to read your question out loud so other folks watching it will hear. So, hi, Justin. Thank you for helping us on the Facebook group. What's your opinion on a Jeep Rubicon? I love the Rubicons. The problem with the Rubicon is they're usually pretty expensive. Most people know what they have. They have a Rubicon. They have it for sale. They remember what they paid for it, which wouldn't have been cheap, and they expect to get some of that money back. If you can find a good deal on one, that's great. Most of the Rubicons, the ones that I'm familiar with at least, are the TJ body style. The benefit to a Rubicon is it has the Dana 44 front and back. They usually have air lockers, so that's a big plus. A lot of folks don't know that. They just want a Rubicon because it says Rubicon on the hood. Real Jeep guys know what they're getting. Those Dana 44s are not cheap, and to have it front and back is a pretty big deal. So same engine, 4.0. It's hard to beat the 4.0. I don't like the 4-cylinder, which you wouldn't have a Rubicon with a 4-cylinder anyway. So, love them. They're good vehicles. If you're dealing in the body style after the TJ, which is 2007 and up, that's the JK. I'm not as familiar with the Rubicons on those. The engines from 07, 10, 11, I can't remember which year, it might have been 12, they swapped to a 3.6 liter, which pretty much all your Chrysler products, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, a lot of your 6-cylinder vehicles went to the 3.6, which has been a decent engine. It's been better than the 3.8 that they threw in the older JKs. I just replaced a 3.8 in SAI. My mechanic replaced a engine in a JK from Advanced Auto Parts. It was $1,850. Actually, I had a 10% off coupon that they were running, or a 10% special for commercial accounts, so I got 10% off of that. So it ended up being a little cheaper than that, but they're just not good engines. You can buy, from time to time, I can buy the 4.0 engine that goes in the Wrangler. The TJs, I bought them for 300 bucks. And sometimes that's out of a Cherokee. You got to retrofit a few things to fit in the, or I'm sorry, out of the Cherokee into the TJ. But the engine from a junkyard for a JK will run you $2,000 plus. We just got a good deal from Advance. Now there's a lot more work you have to do with the engine from Advance to remanufacture. That's great. It's basically a short block, so you have to transfer everything, like the timing cover, everything over. Valve covers, I believe it was timing cover, definitely valve covers, intake, oil pan. So there's a lot of transfer, whereas you don't have to do that on the junkyard engine. But if you put all that labor in, you got a bad junkyard engine. Anyway, it's worth their time, and it was cheaper, and it's a new engine, so or remanufactured. So, love the Rubicon. Not as familiar with the JKs, but TJs, man, they're gold. If you can find a good deal on one. But let's see, Michael's local Mako does amazing body work. And I think ours does too. I've just not used them because they're a little more pricey on the body work. I can usually have that done ahead of time using my mechanic. The mechanic that I use is great on a regular basis. I think he just turned 78, maybe 79. It depends on what kind of mood he's in when I get my price. On this particular Avalanche, he came by, said 400 bucks. That's what I was expecting. And then he called me back. I missed his call that afternoon, and he said, hey, it's going to be $650. He said, because the supplies have gone up. But there's in no way supplies went up 250 bucks. I don't know if he was just in a bad mood that day. I didn't want to spend $650. So it just happened. A guy walked in off the street and said, hey, I do body work. And I'm thinking, I said, great, come look at this. Got it done for, I think it was $500 is what we agreed to. He seemed like a pretty straight up guy. I mean, my paint guy is 78, about to turn 79. I probably need to at least have someone. I don't want to swap away from him because I like him. He's a really good guy. He'll still do work for me. It'd be nice to go ahead and have a relationship with somebody else when he decides to stop doing, whatever he's doing now. He's doing great, but anyway, so I tried these guys. Probably won't use them again. I mean, it was doable. The worst spot, they did great. I mean, they did really good on a spot in the back that was really bad. The hood, which should have been easy, didn't turn out so good. So anyway, looking at that, 3.6, great until they need work. Then they're money. I hear you, man. I actually just sold a 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee, actually about 2 months ago probably. Anyway, it had 286,000 miles, I think. Actually, it was a pretty solid engine. I got it. All it had was a leaking, one of the heater core hose connector coming out into the firewall, coming out of the firewall. It was broken off. We were able to fix it without having to replace it. We were able to shave it off, grind it down, and move the hose over. But it was solid. I mean, ran great. You'd never know it had almost 300,000 miles on it. But I hear you. I bet if you had to replace one, I've not had to even price one of those yet. I would imagine they'd be pretty pricey. But Michael says free hacks sometimes on a certain engine will fit in one car over to another. Like the 3.8 and a Caravan will fit a Jeep if you strip it down to the long block. My dad was actually just telling me that this past weekend, Mother's Day? I can't remember. Whenever Mother's Day was, I went back to surprise my mom, was visiting, and my dad was telling me about a Wrangler they did. They have probably, in the county, it was Cleveland County, North Carolina. Anyone that watches this is from Shelby, they'll know. Actually, you might even know Rusty Lawson, amazing mechanic. He's pretty well known in that area, but he does that all the time. I mean, he can just throw anything in, and he was telling me on a JK they had just done that. They got one out of a Grand Caravan, swapped it over, like you said, stripped it down. My mechanic probably could do that. He's just never done it before, and the time involved, I don't know. It might be worth it. Probably would be worth it. It'd be worth our time, being we do a lot of Jeeps. But what else did we do today? Trying to think. It's kind of a blur. After the podcast, that's good. Oh, we had to order some tires. The Fusion that's being sold tomorrow, we had to order some tires for. Put new tires on it for the guy. This is actually a deal with a company that I deal with that is a barter company, which sounds way old-fashioned, but it's a pretty neat thing. So I'm actually, my profit on this, which sounds crazy, is going to be barter dollars. So if you want to, it's ncbarter.com. Not that you would be interested in it, but if you're just curious what that is, basically we would get credit, which we can then use towards other companies. So the only reason I'm doing it is because I've had it for a while. It's not really my normal inventory. So the reason I bought it was because I had a friend of mine that I play ball with, which actually I'm probably really going to regret being up this late tomorrow because I'm going to gotta get up at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm going to be playing ball with some guys. We play Tuesdays and Fridays from 5:30 to 7-ish. Well, usually closer to 5 to 7. Depends on if everyone gets there on time, but I'm staying up late for the Warriors-Rockets game, and I think it's about the beginning of the fourth quarter now. So I have to jump over there in a minute, but I'll regret this. Back to the Fusion. I bought it because I was looking for his son a Fusion to drive from Charleston, South Carolina, all the way to San Diego, California. I had to buy one on that day, on the Friday, because he left off the following Tuesday or maybe Wednesdays. So I had to get one that day. This one came through first, the one that I'm selling tomorrow. I got it just in case to have in my back pocket. The one I wanted was coming up later. I ended up buying both of them. So I'll make a good $2,000 profit on this. It'll just be on the barter exchange currency. So I need a water filter. Actually, here at my house, there's a company on barter that does that. So this will put me where I can buy that with my barter stuff. So just be careful. This is Michael. Just be careful with some of the Chryslers. The tone ring for the crank sensor could be different. Are you sure you're a nurse, Michael? I mean, anyway, I'm just kidding. So, like the 16 ring compared to the 32. See, that's way beyond my knowledge mechanically. I wish that I knew. Actually, growing up, my dad was always, turning wrenches, working on stuff in the driveway. As a kid, I wasn't interested in the mechanics. He tried to show me all kinds of stuff. I enjoyed the buying and selling, flipping as a kid. It was candy. It was going to camp and going to the Dollar General, buying the 10-cent candy and selling it for 50 cents at camp or $1. Selling candy at school. I did baseball cards, all that stuff. But the mechanical side, I should have paid more attention growing up. So, Rafa's question: how do you respond when people point out high mileage? I usually just say mileage doesn't always determine the condition of the car. I usually, like the vehicle, the Grand Cherokee, someone would say, oh man, that mileage is really high. And several people did, and I would respond back, that's why I'm able to sell it this cheap, or that's why its price is reasonable as it is. The folks that are pointing that out may or may not be actually interested. Some people just like to, I don't know, they have nothing better to do. They're just going to send rude remarks. If someone's really interested, that might just be their way of trying to negotiate. So the guy that eventually came and looked at it, that's the first thing he said. But I said, why don't you drive it? I said, if you drive it, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a great vehicle. It's hard to do that when someone's over the phone or texting or, anything. But you could say something like, if you're interested, come by and drive it. I promise, you'll see that it drives, it runs and drives great. But I usually put the high mileage and I back it back to the price and just say, that's reflected in the price. That's why this guy was able to buy a 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I think I ended up selling it for 65. Maybe it was 55. I think it might have been 55. I'd have to go back and check. It was in one of the daily flips, but it's been a while back. But I got a really good deal on that. Guy just came by off the street wanting to sell it. Smoke and steam was coming out of the engine. And so I got a good deal on it because he didn't know what was going on. And it was, I had my mechanic. He came out and basically whispered in my ear, it's not that big a deal. So we got a pretty good price on it. But I think we might have paid $2,000 if I'm not mistaken. It was a really good profit. 55 sounds right because it was a $3,500 profit. It's somewhere back in one of the daily flips. You can go actually look at it. You can see it. I had to dye one of the seats, a few different things, but worked out really well. Reflect them or turn them back to the price. That's all you can do, and just say, man, this is the cheapest. This is the most reasonably priced one you're gonna find. It runs and drives great. That's what you can do there. But otherwise, if you guys have any other questions, I'd be more than glad to answer them. Otherwise, I'm gonna be hopping back over to my Warriors-Rockets game. Go Warriors! I just enjoy watching Steph Curry play. Not a fan of the shimmying and all this that he does, but if my basketball style, although nowhere near his talent level, the threes is kind of what is my thing. And it helps that I'm playing with older guys in the morning. It makes me seem faster. So, great answer. I'm just reading Rafa's response. Great answer. I'm going to take that, use it, and not give you credit. That's fine. I won't tell anyone, Rafa. Have a good night, Michael. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Quick shout out to anyone that is planning to sign up for the course. This is a unapologetic sell. If you're interested in joining the course, tomorrow's the last day to get the free, or to be registered for the drawing for the free Google Home Mini by 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And the reason it's 5 o'clock is because I have to leave my shop at 5:30 to be here in time at my house for date night. So our babysitter's here at 6. We're leaving out tomorrow. I don't know what we're doing yet, but I would love, hopefully one of you guys would win that. But if you're going to sign up, thecarflipcourse.com will be open. Registration will be open until Friday, June the 1st, 12 o'clock, midnight. So if you're going to sign up, go ahead and get in so you can actually be registered for that. Otherwise, I'm heading back to the game. I'll see you guys tomorrow in Daily Flip 56, unless you listen to the podcast, which comes out earlier in the morning. I think it goes out at like 5 a.m. or something. So if you have not yet, thecarflipshow.com. It'd be amazing if you would subscribe on iTunes. It helps other people see it, as well as subscribing to this channel and liking this video. Helps big time. There's a lot of car flipping channels, but hopefully this is one that's helped you out, and if it has, it would be awesome to subscribe and like, because that lets other people see it that otherwise wouldn't. I am going to run. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.